Hi, my name is Mohammed Raqibul Islam, and my student ID is 105208278, and I will be demonstrating my custom program for option 2. Pressing um, randomize the background color. Left clicking adds shapes, and it adds rectangles by default. C adds a circle, and L adds lines. We can select the shape, and as you can see, the selection adds a outline. You can also change the color of the selected shapes. You can also save the file. Now let's add some more shapes, and we also can load the file from the point where we saved it. And for the new option 2 features, we can add random shapes, and the shapes are well, 5 shapes are added randomly at a time. They have random colors, random positions, and randomized dimensions. Pressing N draws out my name, which uses shapes, specifically lines and a circle. And pressing S scales down the shapes. Moving on to the code walkthrough, let's start with the abstract base class of shape. We have several public fields and some abstract methods and some virtual methods that will be implemented by getting overridden in other classes, such as in the rectangle, my and circle and line classes. So let's move on to the rectangle. This inherits from shape and declares a couple of public fields, width and height. Width and height, a rectangle is initialized. The color is taken from the base shape class, and the rest are added here. We have the overridden method draw, which draws a rectangle on the screen, and if the rectangle is selected, a outline or a bordered rectangle is also drawn over the uh, base rectangle. Then we have the draw outline method that draws the outline of a selected rectangle shape, and the isAt method checks whether a point like the mouse click location is inside this rectangle, and the point in rectangle uses and this is a splash kit. I don't know what you call it. Well, this uses the splash kit's point in rectangle method, I guess, to test if the point lies within the rectangle, and it returns true if the shape is selected. Then we have the save to method that saves the rectangle's data to a file. It first writes rectangle as a marker so that the program knows what kind of shape this is when loading, and it also saves the width and the height, and also the color and the coordinates, which is defined in the abstract class. well, not at the in the virtual save to class, in the virtual save to method in the shape class. And the same for the load from. It loads the rectangle data from a file and reads the saved width and height, and also the XY coordinates and the color. Moving on to the circle. The circle also inherits from the shape class, and it is almost the exact same as the rectangle class, which also inherits from the shape class, except for instead of width and height, the circle has radius as its field. And in the save and load methods, instead of the width and the height, its radius is saved and loaded. Moving on to the line path, which also inherits from shape. It has two private fields and properties, get set properties. It has a constructor that has a given color from the base or shape, and the rest is almost the same except for the outline. Instead of having a rectangle outside the line, I added two small circles at each end of the line. The same with the is at method. It checks whether a point like the mouse click location lies on the line and returns true if the point is on the line, should it be considered selected. Moving on to the drawing class, which is sort of like the I guess the manager class. Well, it has a private list and also a public copy of the private list that can be accessed safely. It has a background of type color and a default constructor, which sets the background to white. The selected shapes method. Um, the selected shapes method returns a list of shapes that are currently selected, and if the shape is selected, it gets added to the list. The shape count property gets the number of shapes from in the drawing, and the background, well, it's a get set property. The draw method draws the it draws the entire drawing on the screen. But it first clears the screen using uh, splashkit dot clear screen, and then it draws each shape in the list. The shape color changer changes the color of the selected shapes to a random RGB color. The change all colors method changes the color of all shapes in the drawing. Selected shape set method checks which shapes are at a given point using the mouse click position, and it selects the shapes that are on the screen where the mouse is clicked or right clicked. The has selected shape method checks if there is at least one selected shape, and it returns true if there is actually a shape selected. The add shape method adds a new shape to the drawing, and remove shape removes all selected shapes from the drawing using the shapes.remove function. The remove latest shape method removes the last drawn shape on the screen. Now the save function saves the drawing, including the background, to a file. It creates a Steam writer to write data to the file, such as the background color and the number of shapes. And using a loop, it writes the shapes data to the file. The load function loads the drawing from the file by creating a stream reader to read the background, the number of shapes. It also clears all the drawings on the screen and then loads the saved ones. It uses this loop to read each shape from the file and create the appropriate shape based on the markers. So if the shape is selected with the marker of rectangle, it'll draw the rectangle based on the shape specifics on of data from the file.